my friend, my name's Wago Howard. I'm going to play a couple things for you, but this is one in just a series of videos. We're going to take you through a couple things if you're a brand new bass player you're going to want to do. Now wait till the end, I'm going to show you a really cool thing. When we're playing on the bass, there's a couple things you want to figure out first. One, do you want to play a 4-string or a 5-string? There are multiple basses, but the two primaries are going to be a 4-string, which would have the E, A, D, and G. The next one, 5-string, can be tuned down to a low C or a B. I prefer to have a B because then all of my octaves are equal temperament. That means that there's an octave P8 and so I would have a low B all the way down there at the bottom. So one of the things that I would like to be able to talk about is the action. The action, you can tell on my bass here, it's a little higher than I like to have it. However, the action as far as the strings go, it refers to the distance between the string and then your fretboard. You never really want to have a unit that has a bent fret. So if you've been playing and it seems ridiculously hard to play, let me see if I can line that up. You shouldn't want any bow in this neck. So if you look straight down the neck, you should be able to see no bow. And then if you have a little slight that goes like under, you've got a front bow. Or a back bow, and if it goes the other way, like it's going to be a front bow. The idea is you need to take the whole thing off the unit, taking off the bolts at the back if you have them. Also hire somebody to do this. Don't do it yourself unless you have another bass to play. What you would do is you'd put the two pieces of the fret, clamp them down, and you put a single unit in the middle. But before you do that, you would make sure your Allen key is nice and adjusted to the loosey-goosey setting, and then you take a hot air dryer or a heat gun, and you heat the unit, the fretboard here, without it getting crazy. The idea is when the wood gets heated and you have it on those two clamps, when you put a block underneath it, it pushes out that bow, or the opposite, flip it upside down. Remember, if you're going to put anything down, face down, you use rags or something in betwixt. Here's the idea for the bass. When you're playing the bass, many times you play the bass for a while using either a pick or you're smacking at strings or using one finger. That's great. What I teach in the beginning is being able to go from one string and pull back so you fall on the next string below it. With the lowest string on a 4-string, an E, or the 5-string, you would pull down and touch the base of the instrument. It would look kind of like this. So if I'm doing something like I can do harmonies by holding notes together on one hand, like this, tertiarily as a third. But the idea behind our hand over here, if you could tell, what I start off playing with are just spider exercises. First finger, first fret, second finger, second fret, third finger, third fret, fourth finger, fourth fret. I'm gonna do a whole video on how that works, but for this time, what we're talking about are the parts of the bass that makes it easy or hard to play. When you get a brand new bass, the aforementioned, seeing if it has a bow in it, that's the first thing you want to do. Second thing, that most of the time will dictate the action, meaning how close the strings are to the actual fretboard without touching the metal frets, which is something called fretting out or a fret buzz. So if you play a note, no matter what it is, and you hear like a that means that somewhere along this point that you've got an uneven fret, and one of them is touching the string, hence buzzing. What we'd like to do is be able to play harmonics on this thing, and in fact they're found everywhere really, but the strongest ones are going to be at the 3, the 5, the 7, the 9, the 12. A little different on guitar, but yeah, they always have those. You can do it at like the 2. You hear it? But it's really in between notes. What happens is you don't really get the harmonic overtone that you're looking for. So in the beginning, if you're a brand new bassist and you don't know what you're doing, that's fine. All you need to do is pick up a bass, look at the action, look at the neck, and play one string. When you go up to the double dot, the 12, or you could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That discusses the 3 quadrants that we kind of go along and play. They have modes and scales that fit front and back like a puzzle piece, which is amazing. Again, I'm going to do another series that talks about that, but I want you to see what this looks like when we go all the way up here. We're going to play up here at the 12th fret, right? Can you see it? And then I'm going to put my finger right in between the 2 metal frettings. The 2 metal frettings determine that I'm playing that E or a G in this case. E, E, A, That means the bass is close to being in tune. The next thing we do is play that harmonic on the 13th metal fret. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, it is the 12th fret. So go up to the 12th fret in the middle, but don't play in the middle like you normally would with any normal note. Go to the middle, whereas you're not going to be playing that, but when you don't press down the note and you just lightly touch your finger over the top, the same amount of pressure you would have if you were lightly touching your face, you would hear. Now what we want to do is make sure that that note is the exact same. If you were to play it and it were to be something along the lines of, and then you press down on the note and it's like, you hear how there's definitely a difference between that frequency? It's off by a couple micrometers. However, when you get those two dissonant notes together, it makes your bass sound funky. So you want to make sure that your E, when played at the 12th fret, your A, ooh, that one feels a little loud. I might have to do an adjustment. That one too. Anyway, it's great to play with a tuner, get it in line, but the idea for playing the bass is if your bass is set up, meaning there's not a huge swoop in your neck or over bow, back bow, front bow, you have it in tune, B, E, A, D, G. That means that when you play grooves like all the notes are kind of central and relative to themselves. By playing the 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, you can move from one point of the fretboard to another without having to worry about, am I in tune with the other instruments I'm playing with? As long as everybody's tuned up to standard tuning, you should be good. 4 or 5 string bass, it's relatively the same. Whenever you get into a string bass that has more than those strings, you have a couple different tunings, a couple different ways of playing. However, the theory and the fundamentals that come along with learning how to play right hand and left hand bass, they work together with every instrument. I hope you found this enjoyable. You learned a little tidbit or a tip that helps you in your adventure. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. I'll do my best to get down to them. Until then, be awesome. Aloha.